guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome to another horror film review. Tonight we're looking at a film that I recently brought after wanting to pick up for a while, and it's the film Brahms The Boy 2, the follow-up to the original The Boy, which I think I have reviewed on my channel already. It's probably like over a year or maybe 2 years ago, but we finally got round to looking at The Boy 2, Brahms The Boy 2. So before we get into it, let's have a look at any special features maybe on the disc. Okay, this is the main menu for The Boy 2. So we'll have a little look at any special features they may have on the disc. Deleted scenes, Brahms watches TV. Deleted scene, extended nightmare. Deleted scene, Jude's drawing. Deleted scene, mold number. And that is it. That's the special features on The Boy 2. Well, as you can see, absolute minimum of special features on this film. But again, it is by Entertainment in Video, which are renowned for releasing pretty shocking sort of features on their movies. They don't tend to add anything onto it, but it is what it is. So we'll get on to the story. So this is based sort of like well into the sort of future after the first one. If you remember the first one, a couple had a young boy that died, and they replaced him in his soul with this doll called Brahms, and they hired like a nanny who sort of like become involved with it and could see this sort of spooky goings on, and the husband and wife finally killed themselves, committed suicide, drowning themselves in the sea, and then the woman became obsessed with Brahms. Anyway, this is set in the future, where we start the film with a young boy called Jude, played by Christopher Convey. Not Convey, is it? Convery. Yeah, that's it. Christopher Convery, and his mum, Lisa, played by Katie Holmes. And they're at home, and they're just sort of like getting prepared for like evening, sort of like dinner together and bedtime. And they get like a video call from the father, Sean, played by Owen Yeoman, and he's away at work or something. Anyway, we see these sort of creepy shadows in the house, and we see like this figure in the house, but we don't know what it is. Anyway, Jude sort of messes around with his mum quite a bit and sort of gives her a big jump scare by hiding. And they seem to be having sort of fun and stuff like that. And then he goes to bed. And his bedroom's really cool. He's got these amazing kind of creepy sort of paintings on his wall, which is really, really cool. He obviously likes this sort of thing, but yeah. And we see this sort of thing, and they say good night and all this kind of thing. And then Lisa goes to bed and settles down for the night, and then she starts to hear noises, creepy sort of noises around the house. So she goes to investigate to make sure Jude's all right, and he's not in his bed. So she thinks, well, he hears noises downstairs. It's a really nice posh house here in London. It's based in London to start with, and it goes out to the countryside. And she goes to investigate this noise, and she thinks it's Jude again playing the trick, what he did earlier in the kitchen. So she goes back, and he's not there. And then she goes back towards the walk upstairs, and then Jude calls her, goes, "Mum, don't go that way." And because we see this creepy figure again behind the stairs, and she doesn't pay any attention to sort of Jude and walks that way, and she gets attacked by two guys in the house. We don't know who they are, but it's like a sort of robbery or burglary, and she's attacked. She survives the attack. She gets brutally hit on the head by this statue that they got in the house, but she survives. Then we cut to the future, like probably about 6 months or whatever in the future, and Jude has stopped talking. This has had a massive effect on him, and he won't talk anymore. He does everything by writing. He writes it down. And they're under like a sort of psychiatrist called Dr. Lawrence, and she's played by Angela Jay. And she's sort of like treating him for what this sort of like effect that it's had on him. Now the mother's made a full recovery and she's fine. So her and the father, Sean, again played by Owen Yeoman, are absolutely stumped what to do, and I think their relationship is sort of hit hard by this as well, because they can't resolve what's stopping Jude from talking and no longer sort of communicating. Like when they're having dinner, they're sitting there and he puts a sign up saying potatoes because he wants potatoes and this sort of thing, and they play along with it. And Sean then sort of like has an idea, well, let's go to the countryside for a while. Let's hire a house out and we go to a countryside to try and see if we can cope with it and get over it. And they sort of really, really running out of ideas and their relationship sort of failing, and they decide to do it. So they hire this big sort of like place, beautiful home in the countryside, and off they drive there. And they get there and they both like it, and Jude likes it and stuff like this. And they go for a little walk around the sort of grounds of this thing, and then we see the groundsman called Joseph, played by Ralph Ineson. And he sort of like makes a sort of like appearance. Anyway, they go exploring and they come across this massive house. So they all go to explore it. Lisa and Sean, the mum and dad, go into the house sort of thing area, and Jude then goes into like the sort of woodlands around the house, and he sees this hand sticking out of the ground, this plastic hand. So he digs down into the ground, and lo and behold, here it is. Here's Brahms. Brahms has been buried into the grounds of this house. And he digs it up. And then the mum and dad realise he's not with them, so they start panicking, a bit like Damien. When Damien disappears by that little riverbank, they start looking for him, and he comes out through the woods holding Brahms. And his mum asks him, well, where did you find it? He goes, in the woods. Goes, well, you want to keep it? He went, yeah, sort of thing. Well, nods his head. He's not speaking at this point. And so they said, well, we need to clean him up. So they take him to the house and they clean him up and everything. And then Joseph makes an appearance again and sort of like talks to the young lad and the family when they're out again having a walk in the woods, because the next day Sean goes off to work and Lisa's left there with Jude, and they go for a walk in the woods and they stumble across Joseph, and he's a really nice guy, and he seems quite, you know, what's the sort of like warm and welcoming, telling me he's the groundsman and he looks after this thing, and they talk about the doll and stuff like that. And then obviously Sean comes up and meets Joseph, and they're all fine, everything's fine. And Joseph's got this German Shepherd dog who doesn't like Brahms, and Brahms doesn't like the dog. And then the film sort of progresses down the line, and the mum and dad one night hear Jude talking. So they think, what a relief. And he's talking to Brahms. And Brahms has been his normal creepy self in the film. We see the normal sort of thing where he's like this and he sort of turns his head, and then when she looks again, he's looking back the other way. All these sort of creepy things that Lisa seems to be finding out about Brahms. She just doesn't, she feels uncomfortable with it, but it's helping Jude speak, so they decide to keep it. And in their sort of house, and that's where things start to go a bit creepy and strange. So that's the plot. I'm not going to tell you any more, so we'll get into the characters. Um, Jude, the young lad played by Christopher Convery, is really cool. He plays the role really well. He's actually quite creepy. I was just thinking, wow, you should be in more creepy horror films, because he's got this really sort of drawn stare, which is fantastic. He plays the role really well, and the mum and dad are really good. The characters are all really likable. They're really, really cool. But of course, Joseph by Ralph Ineson steals the show. He is so cool in this role, especially in this sort of third quarter of the film. He's really fantastic, and I don't want to go into it more because I don't want to spoil that, but it's absolutely wonderful. And of course, the character Brahms, the doll, is again just as creepy as the first one. Absolutely fantastic. So this is what I thought of the film. I thought the film was awesome. I absolutely loved it. I'm going to score it a 9 out of 10. It loses a point for a couple of reasons, which we'll get to. But I absolutely enjoyed the film. I thought it was really creepy, atmospheric, in the same vein as the first one, and really, really sort of like grabs you. You want to see what's going to happen. What's going to happen really grabs you. So this is where it loses the point. It loses the point because nothing really happens within the film. In a sense, it is just a creep out sort of film, but that is what I wanted from it. I didn't want it to be like oh, let's kill all the family and let's do all this sort of thing. I didn't want that, because that's been done before in Amityville films and things like this. And I just thought, I want this just doll to creep me out, and for it just to be really fucking creepy. And it was, and it was just, this doll was so realistic and so cool. I would love one. I just wish they made them. I would buy one. It was so cool. The pluses of this edition, guys, it is, I'm playing with a bit of string. Guys, it was stunning. Absolutely beautiful looking. The environment was cool. The photography was amazing. It looks great. Doesn't need a 4K because it looks stunning in Blu-ray. It has a lot of dark sort of warm browns and golden browns, because it's got that sort of autumny sort of British feel. Excuse me. I believe this is a British horror film because it's in Britain with mostly British actors, and it's based, I'd say, first of all in London and in the countryside. So it's a wonderful looking film. The doll looks really creepy. It's really well acted. The minuses is, like I said, nothing really happens in it, in the sense that obviously the last scene, there's a few sort of like effects come into play, but then the ending, it kind of leaves it open for the third one. I don't think there is one. I've not seen the third one anywhere, but it does kind of leave it open to that, in a way. Not as what you think it would, but it does in a way. But apart from that, I loved it. Brahms The Boy 2, I'm going to score it 9 out of 10. If any of you guys seen it, let me know down below. I don't think it's got a lot of positive reviews because of its sort of slow burn feel, with not a lot going on in it, just sort of creepy moments. But sometimes, guys, that's all you want. That's all you need. Not everything's got to have kills and gore. Sometimes you just want a film that's going to creep you out, like The Awakening and stuff like that, and Orphan. Orphan I loved, and I loved Orphan, the second one, Orphan First Kill, and this is the same. It's got that sort of parallel with the first one. It sort of really matches well. If you watched them both together as a double bill, it would be a great evening. But yeah, really cool. Definitely worth checking out. And check out some horror channels for me. Check out Horror Hands, Horror Geek, Man v Film, RS Design, Pizzawell. I'm the Ice Lord, Cat Watches Horror Movies, Grumpy Andrews, Horror House, Skin Crawler, and The Maniac. And a massive shout out to my lad. Till next time, look after yourselves, look after one another, and I really hope I'll see you all soon.